I hope you're doing well. I want to thank you so very much for joining me today. In Mark chapter 11, verse 25, Jesus says, "And when you stand praying, forgive, if you have any, or if you have aught against any, that your Father also which is in heaven may forgive you of your trespasses." He says in verse 26, "But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father which is in heaven forgive you of your trespasses." He says, when you stand praying, forgive. When you stand praying in front of the very throne of God, forgive. Because if you forgive, God will forgive you. If you refuse to if you refuse to forgive, God will refuse to forgive you. Jesus simply says that's the way it is. We have to work with that. And I think it's difficult sometimes to forgive people. Well, I know it's difficult. 9 times out of 10, it is very hard to do this, to say, all right, you know what, I forgive you. But one thing that I've also found is that when somebody does something that I don't like, say they do something a way that I don't approve of, or they say something that I think, well, that's just oddly pretentious of you to say, or oh, that's just very, petty of you to do, whatever it is, I've found that if I sit down and think and say, all right, maybe they didn't mean to. Because honestly, 9 times out of 10, if someone does something, they don't really mean to offend you at all. And that's not the case with everyone, but I've found that it's the case with me and with the people that I interact with most. And it's just saying, well, so-and-so probably didn't even mean to do that. Didn't realize that, it would offend me the way that it did, or didn't realize that it would hurt me the way that it did. 9 times out of 10 for me, I've found that that's true. Well, maybe it's just they see something differently. They have a different perspective, something that I have missed. And I feel like we just need to take that into account. I've found that for me, sitting down and saying, all right, what were they thinking? What were they feeling when they did that? Whatever it was, that helps me in forgiveness. And I'm not saying it's easy. I know it's not. It's a very difficult thing. But Jesus says, when you stand praying, forgive. When you stand before the very throne of God, forgive. Because if you forgive, God will forgive you. I want to thank you so very much for watching, and I certainly hope to see you tomorrow.